In the land of ancient tales and timeless heroes, there was a shepherd boy named David. Now, David wasn't your typical hero. He didn't have a shining sword, nor did he wear a suit of armor that sparkled in the sunlight. Instead, he carried a simple sling and a heart full of bravery. One day, his father Jesse asked young David to deliver food to his brothers, who were part of King Saul's army. You see, there was a big battle going on. The Israelites, led by King Saul, were facing off against the Philistines, a rather belligerent bunch. But the real problem wasn't the army. It was their champion, Goliath. A giant of a man, Goliath towered over everyone at the height of one very large giraffe, minus the spots and neck. He was strong, loud, and intimidating enough to make your grandma's Yorkshire Terrier wet the carpet in fright. Every day, Goliath would stand on the battlefield and challenge the Israelites, "Send one man to fight me. If he can defeat me, we shall be your servants. But if I win, you will be ours." It was the ancient world's version of a really lopsided unboxing video. David arrived just in time for the daily spectacle and found his brothers trembling more than a leaf in a Manchester windstorm. "What's going on here?" asked David, with the same innocence one might inquire about Aunt Mabel's secret pie recipe. His brothers explained about Goliath, their knees knocking louder than a drummer with rhythm issues. Everyone was too afraid to face the giant. Now, David, whose previous experience with conflict involved keeping sheep from running amok, had other ideas. "Why should we be afraid?" he reasoned, with a logic that would baffle philosophers for generations. "I fought lions and bears while tending the sheep. This fellow is just another oversized thespian with a penchant for shouting." King Saul hesitated, looking at David as if he'd just announced a plan to convert Jerusalem into a theme park. "But you're just a boy," he pointed out helpfully. "I'm small but fierce," declared David, perhaps with a hint of dramatic flair. Finally, after much ballyhoo, Saul relented, probably thinking it might be at least entertaining to have an understudy to history's great battles if nothing else. He offered David armor, but it was too big, like trying to fit a tomcat into a sweater vest. "No need for all this," said David, politely declining. "I'll stick with my sling and a few stones. It's a slingshot kind of day." So, armed with just his trusty sling, 5 smooth stones, and what the grown-ups later referred to as the extraordinary gumption, David marched out to meet Goliath. Goliath looked down, perhaps wondering if his eyesight was failing, or if there really was a small boy challenging him. He laughed, a guffaw that echoed like a 5-pound bag of jelly beans landing on a wooden floor. To cut a slightly long story short, which historians might suggest for brevity's and attention span's sakes, David took one of his stones, placed it in his sling, and hurled it at Goliath with a skill that would impress a master tennis player at Wimbledon. The stone struck Goliath on the forehead, and the mighty giant fell with a thud that suggested someone had just knocked over a wardrobe full of bowling balls. The Israelites were amazed, awestruck that such a small figure could bring down such a looming terror. Their cheers were loud, as if they'd all simultaneously found the last piece of a jigsaw puzzle. David's story is one of courage, faith, and the idea that even if you're small in stature, your bravery can be as large as a giant. And so, young reader, remember that no matter the size of the obstacles you face, your courage, like David's, can make a world of difference. Thus was told, in a small village under the stars, the timeless tale of David and Goliath, a story to inspire kids, parents, and sheep keepers everywhere.